everyone, it's Andrea from Movers and Bakers. Today I'm going to share with you how I make lemon squares. These are beautiful short crust base with a lovely tangy lemon curd on top. Absolutely beautiful. Let's get baking. Right, so it's a really basic shortbread base that I'm going to be making today. To start with, I've got 100 grams of butter. This is unsalted butter and it's at room temperature. And before I add my sugar to it, I am just going to give it a quick mix together just to soften it and make it easier. All right, so that's my butter softened up enough. Now to that, I am going to add some caster sugar. This is 50 grams of caster sugar. Don't forget, I will put all the ingredients and quantities and everything in the link below, so you can check it out really, really easily. I'm gonna give that a quick mix together just to combine it. That's it. You just want it to be combined enough so it starts to soften and really mix together really well. To that, I'm going to add some vanilla. And to that, I'm also going to add my flour. This is 150 grams of plain flour. I'm just going to sift it in just because I always like to sift my dry ingredients in where possible because I find it adds extra air and takes out any lumps. It really makes a difference when you're mixing. And then we're just going to mix it together until it just starts to clump together. That's all we're looking for. So you want your dough to start going a little bit darker and to start to clump together like that. And then we're going to finish it off by hand. So the last bit, I'm just going to bring it together with my hands, just because the warmth of my hands is going to help that butter really mix together with everything. And you want to just start squeezing it really gently and you can feel it come together. If you found that your dough isn't quite sticking together, just add a tiny little splash of milk and that's all you'll need for your dough to come together. Now I have here a square tin with a loose bottom. I normally use this for my brownies, if you've seen my brownies recipes. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in. I've just lined it with some greaseproof paper. I'm going to pop this mixture in here and press it into the bottom. So we're just going to spread it out all over the bottom. It's going to make a fairly thin layer, and then you just want to compact it fairly evenly and flat all the way into the corners and up the edges. So I'm just using the back of my fingers so I get it nice and flat. If it's a little bit lumpy because of your fingers, that's absolutely fine. Once you've got the curd on top, you won't even see it. If you don't want to get your fingers stuck in and sticky with the mixture, you can use the back of a rolling pin or a spoon or the bottom of a glass, anything that you want, but you just want to compact it a little bit and make sure it's more or less even and flat all the way around. So that is my shortbread base done. I'm going to pop that in the fridge while I put my oven on to preheat. My oven's going to preheat at 180 or 350 Fahrenheit, and this is just going to sit in the fridge for about 10 minutes while my oven preheats, and then I'm going to bake it, and I will see you on the other side to make some lemon curd to put on top. Right, my shortbread is in the oven, and while that's in there, I am going to make my topping. So I have 3 lemons here. I'm going to zest them and get all the juice into my big mixing bowl first. While I'm doing this, it's a great time for me to remind you to like this video if you enjoy what I produce. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and please do share it if you make something and you enjoy it and you've enjoyed baking and the whole process. Let me know how it turns out. I love to hear from you guys. And that's all 3 of my lemons zested. I'm just going to grab all this lovely zest off the back of my zester as well. Now it's really important, if you've not seen any of my other videos where I zest lemons and other fruit, it's really important that you zest it directly into your mixing bowl, just because it's not just the skin off the fruit that you're getting, but you're also getting some lovely, I don't know if you can see it in my bowl, you're getting the lovely oils coming out as well. And that's going to just really enhance the flavor of, in this case, lemon in your bake. So it's really important to do it directly into your mixing bowl and not in a separate bowl and then put it in. Right, and now I'm going to use the same lemons. I'm going to get all the juice out of them. So now I've got my lemons zested and squeezed in here. The next thing I'm going to add is my sugar. This is 120 grams of caster sugar. And to that, I'm going to add 75 grams of unsalted butter. I have melted it to make it easier to mix together. So all that's going in. I'm just going to give that a quick mix through and use it as an opportunity to scrape down all that lovely oil that I zested in as well from my lemons. Give it a quick mix just to start the sugar dissolving. Now I've got 3 eggs. that's my 3 eggs, and I'm also going to sift in 50 grams of plain flour. Now this in here is my basic lemon curd recipe. If you've not seen that, check it out. It's amazing on toast or with scones or anything like that. But because I'm wanting to bake it and I want it to firm up, I'm adding some flour, which is going to help that happen. So to all that, I have here 50 grams of plain flour that I'm just going to sift in. And I'm going to give that a mix together. Now I'm using an electric whisk because I want it to really get mixed up really well, but you don't want to mix it too much and get lots of froth, because then you'll end up with a kind of bubbly top to your lemon bars, and you don't want that. You want it to be nice and smooth. So mix it enough that it's well mixed, but without any lumps of flour. Right, that is all mixed. My shortbread is now cooked. I'm going to go get it out of the oven and we're going to put this together. So my shortbread is out of the oven. You can see it is golden on top, and you can see just along the edges it's just starting to brown. That's exactly what you want, and when you press it down it should feel quite firm. If it feels soft, it's not cooked enough yet. This baked for about 20 minutes, but it can be anything from 18 to 20 minutes for your shortbread to be done. So you want it to be firm when you pull it out, because you want it to be baked before we put something liquid on top of it. So that's still warm, which is why I was using oven gloves. So I'm going to pour this on here, and it's going to go straight back in my warm oven and cook anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. And what you're looking for is for the edges of your lemon to have set and the middle to be slightly jiggly, because it will continue to cook when you pull it out of the oven, so you won't have it be really stodgy. It will be lovely and soft when you're done with it. And I'll see you on the other side once this is baked to show you what to do next. Right, so they're all done. They cooked for about 12 or 13 minutes, but check them around 10. You want them to be firm on the edge and then a little bit wobbly in the middle before you pull them out. It'll keep cooking and it'll firm up as it cooks a bit more and cools down outside the oven. And then leave it to cool completely before we do our next step. The final step is really simple. We're going to dust it with some icing sugar and then cut it up. So this is just your regular powdered icing sugar. That's all it is, and I'm just going to use a little sieve and cover it really generously. And once you have dusted the top with icing sugar, it's time to cut it up. Now I like to make these into not bite-sized, but kind of not really generous squares, because I find they can be quite sweet, but that's just for my taste. So cut them however big or small you want to. Make sure you use a really, really sharp knife when you do this, and just take your time about cutting your little squares out. And there is your lovely lemon square. So you have, let me put my knife down, you have this beautiful short crust base with beautiful tangy lemon curd filling, and then a little dusting of icing sugar on top. Absolutely perfect. Hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, do like it, do let me know if you make it and how they turn out. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Happy baking.